Question: what is your favorite Korean movie ever? There's been a few really good ones, and this is just another one to add to the quiver of great Korean films that seem to be breaking into the Hollywood genre. So it's up for a bunch of awards, just in time for the Oscar Awards, but let's get into the review. Hi, and welcome to the Review Tuesday. My name's Ruben.
I'm Kay.
And this is our review for Minari. Thanks so much for A24 for this screener. We do appreciate it. It's coming out today on digital platforms in the UK and this side of the world. I'm aware America and other places have had it for a while. It's taken us a while to get this film. I don't know why, sometimes that's just the way it goes, but it's definitely one that I've heard people talking about consistently, just saying, it's so good, it's a 5-star film, and I'm always very wary when I go into films, like, yeah, is it though? Is it though? It is. But why don't you tell us about it?
In some ways. So the synopsis is very, very brief. Basically, a Korean family starts a farm in the 1980s in Arkansas. Arkansas. Yeah, that's it. That's all they're going to tell you. And that's basically what happens in the film. I would have to say that the acting is outstanding from every single cast member.
Yeah. Oh, cat. Okay.
Cats like packets.
Yeah, even the very young child actor, who is very young, was incredible.
It was great.
He had an emotional range, a screen presence that everybody he's acting with, I guess, heightened or made it better. Sometimes you get actors, when they're acting on screen together, they bring out more. They bring out the better. So when you get Keanu Reeves with Al Pacino in The Devil's Advocate, you realize, wow, Al Pacino is a fantastic actor because he's making Keanu Reeves look like a brilliant actor. Yeah. I like Keanu Reeves, but you know what I'm saying. Okay, so we get back to our main cast. One of them is Steven Yeun, one of my favorite characters from The Walking Dead, and he was incredible.
He was great.
I say that, and he was incredible because I've only seen him really in The Walking Dead, and he has a very kind of, we know what his character does, we don't get to see him shine. But in this, with his wife, just very good. Like, so heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
It's a slice of life story, and you see them arrive at this farm, having to create it, work extremely long days. They're doing 2 jobs, working at a chicken factory, or chick factory, working their land. You know, they have nothing, basically. They're working off the grid, and you have all this intense pressure, and then you add the sickness of a child, and you know that's just like a recipe for stuff to go wrong or stuff to happen. And life always does that, and I think it showcases that very well.
It really does. The cinematography is stunning. I mean, every shot, it feels like it's all been very well thought out. Every shot is planned. Every framing is just, it's not interesting, but it's beautiful, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah? There was never a moment where I was like, that was an odd choice.
Yeah.
So it was obviously well thought out before they actually started filming it. There is one issue that I have with this film, and that is the pacing.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So although it is a 5-star film, and it is fantastic, and it's great, and it's beautiful, and it's heart-rending, and all of the things that it needs to be, it's emotionally captivating, it's so slow.
It is incredibly slow. Like, it's not, the word slow burner is normally associated to films that have, it builds to something at the end.
Yeah.
And this kind of has that, but it's more just here's a moment in their life.
Yeah.
And we're going to show everything. It's mise-en-scene filmmaking, not necessarily in the film. It's just, here's everything.
This is the story.
Yeah. And it works for this, and you understand totally why they do it, but it definitely is like, but what's going to happen? We understand this is happening now. It's like we're reading a book a book series at the moment, and someone describes, before they get into any action, they describe what each character is wearing, what everything is in the room, and you're just like, we understand, we get it, but you don't need to. You can kind of... So I'm going off on a tangent, but I'm just saying that as an example of you see everything. That, you know, they make a cup of tea, they tell them to get something in the fridge, they go and get something from the fridge. You know, it's all of that. It's looking. It's like you're a voyeuristically a voyeur fly on the wall, watching this. Like you're a little spy cam, and you're just seeing everything going on, but you never get to cut. You know, unless the person in charge of the cameras goes, yeah, okay, fine.
What about the score, babe?
The score was great.
It's beautiful.
It's
Again, you
wonderful.
could listen to it on its own.
The score's a character, but it doesn't outstay its welcome. It doesn't overemphasize itself by going, "Hey, look at me! I'm a score. Listen to my deep, deep tones," like some films do.
Yeah,
this one
no
is pushing the film forward without you really knowing it. There are slight occasions when you notice it and you're like, "That's cool,"
Yeah.
but for the most part, it's just there and doing its job. You had one issue, which you've just spoken about, but I also have an issue, which is the ending of the film.
Yes.
So I've had a lot of films recently, and series, that just don't seem to have an ending. They reach their point, and then they're either ambiguous endings. So there's a film called Portal at the moment that just has people split down the middle. Like, a lot of people hate that film because of how it's ended. They enjoyed the film, but once they got to the end, they're like, what? No.
Yeah.
Tenet pisses people off because is it or isn't it? Although that's more liked than those. This one, it feels like they're trying to tell you what's happening, but they leave it to you to understand. Okay, so we're going to do Ending Explained to talk about that. I'm giving it an A because I think it's great.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it deserves an A for the way it's been made and the emotional impact and the acting. Yep.
Now, if you've seen it, we can talk about the end because it has an ambiguous ending. And I was frustrated with it, but I do think some people are going to go, well, isn't or isn't it? So during the film, they obviously have an estranged relationship, the husband and wife, and we see them get to that culmination point where they've decided no, well, she's decided no, I'm going to go, and he's like agreed, until heartbreakingly the grandmother sets fire to their crops. And that is the big moment where, it's just like, that's horrible. You knew that everything was going to reach to a point, and this was the manifestation of that. It's like what the wife was saying, I feel like everything's going to go wrong. I'm just waiting for that point. I don't have trust in you. And then literally her worst fears are realized, which is horrible. You're like, oh, please don't. And all that work they've gone through, it feels like it's all for nothing. So such a great way. That would have been almost a better ending. Then they carry on.
Why would that have been a better ending?
Because you understand. That's like, okay, what she said.
You'd still be frustrated because you'd still want to know what they're going to do next.
Yes, but so it cuts to a point where it seems to say that everything's okay between them, but it never says it. We see the Minari growing wildly on it by itself, which is fantastic. And I was like, yeah, that was great. We thought that they were going to use that somehow.
Yeah, to like save the farm or something. Like, it's an unusual crop that no one else is growing, and maybe they can sell the Minari and make a bit of money.
Yeah, but I guess it's just called Minari because the grandmother planted Minari.
I guess so.
But it does seem to suggest that the husband and wife had gotten back together. Or is that wishful thinking on my part? Because I do love a happy ending.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily life. But at that last moment, it did seem like they were together.
Well, there's nothing like a near-death experience to sort of make you reevaluate your decisions in life.
Yeah, it did seem like. So, which means they probably have to go to California because they've got nothing to grow their land on. They would have to sell their property and go.
Yeah, but why were they divining for water then?
I know, exactly.
So they're definitely staying.
So they're staying. They're
but
starting
how?
again.
How?
So they're starting again. They're taking out more loans to cover the ground.
Maybe if the wife is more supportive this time round, it might work. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, that does seem to be, if she's there divining stuff, they're in it together, they realize that this is the moment where this make or break for us. The kid, his heart was getting better.
Yeah, so they kind of have to stay there.
That's exactly what the doctor said. Whatever you're doing,
keep doing it.
Yeah. So you can't leave. Can't take the kid, man. He's hard. Yeah. And obviously the grandmother, who was excellent.
Loved the
Wonderful
grandma.
performance. You saw how strong she was in the performance because her character had to change so much once she had the stroke. So
she broke my heart. I loved her character.
Great character. So let us know in the comments below what you think would have happened. What do you think the ending was saying? How much did you love this film? I thought it was really good. In fact, the more you talk about it, you realize how good it is.
Yeah, I think if we'd done the review straight after we watched it, because we watched it last night and now it's another day, I think we probably would have been more harsh. But having sort of mulled over it in sleep and sort of thought about it a bit this morning, it's very good.
It is very good. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for watching this, but most of all, until next time, remember,
Live long and Tuesday.